Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me Kagam. Okay, so today's crazy robbery story, I haven't done one of these videos in a while, is straight out of LA from Fendi. So basically the Fendi boutique in Beverly Hills in Los Angeles was ransacked, okay, by a group of thieves or brigands. I just heard that word the other day, I learned it. Apparently a brigand was like a 18th or 19th, no, not 19th, an 18th century robber who would like hide in the forests when people were coming with their carriages and then like jump in front of the horse and rob people in the carriages. That was a brigand. You might as well call these people brigands, okay? Because they ran into the Fendi store. They ambushed them at like 6 o'clock and they stole a bunch of bags. They didn't go to the till. They didn't steal any money, okay? They just ran in there and stole a bunch of bags and they ran out. They were a group of young offenders. In America, they call them juveniles. In the Commonwealth, you'd say young offenders. So they're all under the age of 18. They were like getaway cars. Now get this. There were actually clients in the store. This is so scary. Like when I was reading the story, I was like, oh my God, if this was me, I would be crying. I'd be so afraid. The police, or the news article said that they ran in there basically. They obviously knew the layout. They grabbed a bunch of Fendi bags. They ran out of the store. One of the security guards was trying to protect, obviously, the merchandise and other people and other patrons in the store. And then he was pushed by one of the thieves, and then they ran into these getaway cars that were waiting nearby. But guess what? Okay, they were caught. Every single one of them was caught. It's a crazy story. I will make sure I link in the description to the news article. You can read it in full below. And someone actually filmed them running out. There was, I think, a customer had just left, or someone who was like a bystander was like, oh, people are robbing the Fendi store. Let me record it. You know, it's like, I was reading this, I was like, who are these people who can record when these things are happening? I would so have like flight or fright. I think that's what it's called. So I was reading this whole thing and then actually was speaking to a friend about this before I made this video. I was like, what do you think? And then she was just like, hold on, wait. So you're telling me that I'm working in the Fendi store and people are running up in there. Apparently they didn't have weapons, so it wouldn't be considered armed robbery. It's just robbery. But I actually want to share a story. Like I've experienced that with my business when I used to own a boutique. Basically like one day we arrived at the store to open the store for business for the day. And then we found that like our ACs, our like fans and ACs had been stolen basically. And the fans had been taken, the mechanical ceiling fan. They'd taken tons of stuff. They'd stolen inventory from us. And I remember being devastated. So basically someone had broken in the night before. And these are people who clearly cased our store and they knew our movements and they knew our security issues as well. It was devastating. That happened many years ago now, but it was like when I was first starting to be an entrepreneur and I was really excited and stuff. And I remember being devastated. And he's my husband now, but obviously he was my boyfriend then. And I remember he was just like, why do people do this? I mean, it's so wild, so crazy. And then another story I have was when I had that boutique, our neighbor, they were like a stationery store and they also used to do like a gift wrapping service. One day, this motorbike rocks up there. I was not at the store when this happened. My employees were. And then this motorbike comes and then he pulls out a gun. He's like, give me everything you got. And then in like her store, there's this thing that you can do in Tanzania in general and Kenya. Like when you're being robbed or mugged, you're supposed to scream, Mwizi, Mwizi, which is Swahili for thief. She screamed that. And then normally what happens, if you scream that, people will come and run and come to your aid. Like, where is he? We're going to beat him up. And then I think that he panicked when he saw that she wasn't afraid of the gun. And that was just her visceral reaction. And then they ran away on the motorbike, people were running after them. We all like, well, I wasn't there, but my employees all ran outside and everything. So I just like when I hear stories like this, it's like, I understand that we live in a really tough time at the moment and C-19 is making people do crazy things. My friend was asking me, well, why would they steal the bags? I mean, Fendi, you know, Fendi's Fendi, but who are they selling them to? And I was like, well, obviously They're selling them to fences. Fences are typically in the jewelry heist world. So jewelry thieves, they tend to use a fence. I think I've said this before. A fence is someone who receives the stolen goods, and then they will then give you some money, and they'll keep the goods as collateral that they can then sell on to other people. That's why it works with jewelry, and art. So if you still say, you know, for example, one of the paintings that I'm absolutely in love with is the Salvator Mundi, the picture of Christ, which I think is at the Louvre in Abu Dhabi. If someone stole that and fenced it, they would get a lot of money, because that as collateral, that's an iconic painting that's basically worth $1 billion at this point, let's be honest. So these people are taking those bags, giving them to a fence. The fence will then immediately give them money, like, okay, how many Fendi Peekaboos did you steal? Don't forget that Fendi make exotics. People can say what they want about exotics, okay? Exotics are worth a lot of money, and people are willing to pay for exotics. I've already told you that I would never buy anything pre-loved, but Chanel exotics is something I'm interested in. Fendi also make fur. So to my knowledge, they did not steal anything from the fur atelier at the Fendi boutique there. But they obviously stole the bags. We don't know what bags they stole. I'm guessing that they cased the place. I'm guessing that they walked in there before, pretended that they were clients so that they could understand where the high value bags are. And then for those of you from the UK, you already know that those kind of old fashioned East London jewelry heists were known as smash and grabs, where there'd be like a group of like jewelry thieves would run into a jewelry store. They would like smash all the jewelry display cases and take all the diamonds and run. That's why in the UK it was called a smash and grab. This is kind of like that, except it was like a run and grab, basically. They ran in there, they took everything, they bolted. The police caught them, honey. Fendi's going to get paid. And I think something that people forget with a lot of these luxury brands is like, I know people are like, oh yeah, okay, well, Fendi makes $1 billion. And actually Fendi did just pass $1 billion in revenue a year, which is massive and great for them. But it doesn't matter. People's livelihoods depend on that store. Think of how many people are employed by that store. Think of the security guards are employed and their families who are eating from the success of that store. Think of the SAs who depend on that store. Think of the people you don't even see. Like when Fendi receive inventory, when they receive logistics, think of the shipping companies that are used to ferry products to and from the store. So I think that people need to think about this. You might think it's like a victimless crime, stealing designer goods from a store, but you're actually really hurting a lot of people. So yeah, I just wanted to share that story. I just thought it was so crazy, so wild. These are juveniles. They've been caught, obviously, because they're underage, they're young offenders. Their identities cannot be revealed. Let me tell you, okay? Let me tell you right now, if that was like an African teenager or an Afro-Caribbean teenager who did that, they're going to get their ass beat, okay? Because this is super, super, super wild and crazy and unacceptable. Anywho, I'd love to know what you guys think of this robbery. Do you guys like these robbery stories? Because these luxury robbery stories to me are just so fascinating. I always find them interesting. Tell me what you think. Hit that bell and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. It really helps to support my channel. And I'll see you in my next video.